While millions of people are screaming at their TVs, painting their faces, and emotionally destroyed because 11 strangers lost a game, there's a large group of people who feel absolutely nothing. No excitement, no tension, no disappointment, just indifference. And neuroscience suggests this isn't a personality flaw. It's a difference in how the brain is wired. Stay here, because understanding this will completely change how you see sports fans and yourself. Here's something nobody talks about. Not caring about sports doesn't mean you're boring. It doesn't mean you lack emotion, passion, or excitement. And it definitely doesn't mean something is missing in you. But it does mean your brain responds to meaning, reward, and connection differently from the majority of people, especially compared to the millions who follow sports religiously. So why do so many people care so deeply? Humans evolved as tribal beings. For most of history, belonging wasn't optional. It was survival. Your group protected you, shared resources, and gave you identity. Modern sports tap straight into that ancient system. Teams have colors, symbols, rituals, heroes, and enemies. When someone watches their favorite team, their brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, the same chemical involved in trust and family attachment. On a neurological level, the brain treats the team like part of the tribe, even if the players are rich strangers on a screen. People who don't care about sports often show weaker tribal attachment. Psychologists describe this as lower tribal orientation. Their sense of identity isn't built around group belonging. They're more internally defined. They don't need to merge themselves into something larger to feel complete. Research supports this. A 2019 study found that people with low interest in sports displayed significantly less us versus them thinking. They don't automatically dislike others just because they support a different side. But the real difference appears when we look at dopamine. For sports fans, games are a continuous dopamine loop. Every play carries uncertainty. Every moment holds potential reward or disappointment. That anticipation, the same feeling you get right before opening a gift, is dopamine firing. Brain imaging studies show that watching sports activates reward centers similar to gambling. The key factor is unpredictability. You don't know what will happen next, and that keeps the brain engaged. Psychologists call this intermittent reinforcement, the most addictive reward pattern known. People who don't care about sports simply don't get that dopamine response from indirect competition. Their brains aren't wired to feel reward from outcomes they don't influence. And interestingly, this difference may be partly genetic. Research from the University of Chicago suggests that variations in dopamine receptor genes can predict interest in competitive spectator activities. Your lack of concern over who wins might literally be biological. There's also something called basking in reflected glory. When a team wins, fans say, "We won." When the team loses, it becomes "they lost." Notice the shift? People who don't obsess over sports tend to have a more stable self-concept. Their self-esteem isn't borrowed from external victories. They don't need wins they didn't earn to feel successful. Their sense of worth is less dependent on things outside their control. This doesn't make sports fans inferior, just different. Interestingly, sports fans often score high on certain empathy measures. They practice emotional investment in shared struggle, but non-sports people allocate empathy differently. Everyone has limits on what they can care deeply about. People who aren't into sports often direct that emotional energy toward relationships, ideas, creativity, art, or personal goals. A 2021 study found that low sports interest correlates with higher openness to experience and appreciation for beauty. Their emotional highs come from music, nature, learning, and meaning, not scoreboards. For some people, indifference to sports is also protective. Maybe they felt excluded growing up, maybe competition felt hostile, maybe sports culture didn't feel welcoming, or maybe they simply never understood why adults scream at televisions over a ball. Your disinterest may have a story, or it may not. Both are valid. This is why sports fans and non-fans often misunderstand each other. Sports fans find meaning in narrative, the comeback, the rivalry, the underdog, the dynasty. Non-fans often see randomness. Why emotionally invest in outcomes you can't affect, performed by people you don't know, in games that don't change your life? Neither perspective is wrong. They're just different paths to meaning. Psychologists describe this as parasocial investment versus direct engagement. Fans form one-sided emotional bonds. Non-fans prefer involvement where their effort matters, where there's reciprocity, where they're participants, not spectators. Both satisfy the human need for purpose, just in different ways. Flow states, moments of deep absorption, can come from almost anything. For some, it's a game. For others, it's building, creating, thinking, or solving. And many people who don't follow sports report feeling more present in their own lives. They're not emotionally outsourcing hours to someone else's struggle. They're focused on their own. So if you don't care about sports, you're not missing a universal human experience. Your brain just prioritizes meaning differently. Your reward system, empathy focus, and identity structure are calibrated another way. The next time someone asks, "Did you see the game?" and you genuinely don't care, remember this: you're not broken, you're not boring, you're just playing a different game. And sometimes that game has much higher stakes. If this resonated, subscribe. We explore the psychology most people never stop to question.